For centuries, a legend has persisted about a creature that lurks beneath these waters. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel the truth about the Loch Ness Monster. You can't help but marvel at the profound cultural impact of the creature formerly known to many as Nessie. This legend, steeped in history, folklore, and genuine curiosity, has transcended its Scottish roots to captivate the imagination of millions around the globe. It's a journey into the heart of an age-old legend, one that has mystified generations with first-hand accounts of those who swear they've seen the beast, exhilarating tales from expeditions, mind-bending theories, hoaxes, and the incredible imprint this elusive creature has stamped upon our culture. When people think of Nessie, they usually picture that classic long-necked dino-like creature we see in all the pictures and movies. But there's a lot of history to water monsters in that area. Before Nessie even became a thing, there were tales about water kelpies in Scotland, which could have sparked the whole Loch Ness Monster legend. So about these kelpies, they're old stories from Scottish folklore. Think of them like ancient water spirits. The name Kelpie might have come from the Scottish word Calpiac, which basically means heifer or young horse. And that makes sense because Kelpies are often shown as these shape-shifting beings, sometimes appearing as people or horses. But here's where it gets really creepy. They're known to trick folk, especially kids, into riding them. And once you're on, you're stuck. Their skin is like glue, and just like that, they'll drag you under the water. But Kelpies aren't the only spooky water spirits in Scottish stories. There's this other one called, and I'm gonna mangle this Gaelic word, Echoshkai. It's way meaner than the Kelpies and lives in the sea or saltwater lochs. While Kelpies drown their victims, these Gaelic creatures take it a step further. They eat them, leaving behind just the liver. Yeah. Now, these stories were passed down for ages. They weren't written down at first, but shared around campfires or sung by bards. Over time, real events and these legends got all mixed up. So it became hard to tell what's real and what's just a story. These water spirits, from Kelpies to the other one, Echoshkai, played a huge role in shaping Scottish culture, inspiring a ton of artists, and serving as both tales of wonder and caution. Oh, and here's a super creepy story from 565 AD about St. Columba, who encountered a water beast in Scotland. While it's not exactly a Nessie tale, it kind of sets the stage for how the whole Loch Ness story might have come to be. Born in 521 AD, St. Columba was an Irish missionary, credited with spreading Christianity in Scotland. His zealous missionary endeavors led him to establish the monastery of Iona, a significant hub for Christian learning. Columba's life is filled with miracles and divine interventions, but one event stands out for its eerie connection to Loch Ness. While traveling through the Scottish Highlands, Columba and his companions reached the River Ness, which flows from the northern end of Loch Ness. Here, they chanced upon locals burying a man, said to have been attacked by a water beast. This creature had mauled its victim, dragging him underwater until fellow villagers rescued him, though a little too late to save his life. Spotting an opportunity to showcase the power of his faith, Columba issued a challenge. He instructed one of his followers to swim across the river. As expected, the creature emerged, menacingly approaching the man, With steadfast faith, Columba made the sign of the cross, exclaiming, "Go no further, do not touch the man, go back at once." To the astonishment of all present, the beast retreated, and the man returned unscathed. This miraculous event further solidified Columba's reputation of a man of God, and was emblematic of the power of Christian faith over pagan beliefs and nature's chaos. If it's true. The parallels between this ancient account and the contemporary tales of the Loch Ness Monster are hard to ignore. Columba's run-in was on the River Ness, not the actual Loch Ness, but they're very close, right? It's like these weird water creature stories have been around there for like 1,000 years or something. The creature in the old story, super aggressive, just like how some people talk about Nessie today. Okay, so the old tale doesn't really spell out what the thing looked like, not like the Dino Nessie we imagine, but it was strong enough to pull a dude underwater, so it must have been big. Whether it's way back then or now, people are just so drawn to these mysterious creatures. They're a mix of spooky, fascinating, and a reminder of how wild and unknown nature can be. But here's the catch. The old story and today's tales have some big differences. These writings about St. Columba, they weren't meant to show how awesome and holy he was. So who knows? Maybe they jazzed up the story to make it sound more epic. Makes you wonder if the creature was just some normal, crocodile-like animal mistaken for something else, or if it's a mix of real events with some legendary flair added in. But enough about all these other critters. Let's get to Nessie. In all of cryptozoological history, few images have captivated the world's imagination like the surgeon's photograph of 1934. As the most famous evidence purporting to show the Loch Ness Monster, this photograph became the centerpiece of a legend that has been simmering for decades. However, the intricate web of stories, ambition, and deceit behind this photograph adds even more mystique to the Nessie narrative. So back in April 1934, the Daily Mail dropped this crazy photo that became the image of the Loch Ness Monster. Peek this. A mysterious serpentine head and neck jutting out from the tranquil waters of the loch. It almost seemed like a scene straight out of a fantasy novel. This photograph was instantly coined the surgeon's photograph, a nod to the man behind the camera, Robert Wilson. Now, Wilson wasn't a seasoned photographer or prankster, he was a respected doctor from the heart of London. The title of doctor brings with it an air of respectability and trustworthiness. So when he vouched for the photo, people were inclined to believe. Wilson, for his part, stayed relatively low-key about it. He recalled chilling by the loch, spotting the creature, and instinctively grabbed his camera. Just like that, he immortalized the creature in a snapshot. The clarity of this photograph was unparalleled for its time, and the entity in the image? Enormous. The excitement was palpable. Conversations buzzed in every nook and cranny, from smoky pubs to lively marketplaces. Have you seen the photo? Nessie's real. The local legend had exploded onto the national stage. Soon, Loch Ness was swarming with tourists, monster hunters, and curious souls. Radios buzzed with interviews, newspapers ran special features, and debates raged on. While many experts nodded in agreement, saying, "It's authentic," skeptics raised eyebrows, suggesting that the monster might just be debris, shadows, or a bird mid-dive. As the decades rolled on, the initial euphoria around the photo began to wane. Doubts crept in during the 70s and 80s. Was the monster real, or just a well-executed ruse? The plot thickened when Christian Sperling, aged and nearing the end of his life, dropped a bombshell. On his deathbed, he admitted the famed monster was a cleverly crafted model, using a toy submarine. But who was the brains behind this elaborate hoax? Marmaduke Witherell. Just a year prior, the Daily Mail had roped him in for a monster hunt. He had boldly presented proof in the form of footprints, which were later debunked as a hippo's foot impressions of all things. Red-faced and humiliated, Witherall hatched a revenge plan. Crafting the monster, he looped in his buddy, Dr. Wilson, to give the hoax a veneer of credibility. Even as the truth unraveled, Nessie's allure didn't wane. That photograph, though debunked, had etched itself into popular culture. It's a testament to human curiosity, our love for mysteries, and our penchant for a good tale. But it's also a lesson in trust, deception, and the lengths that one might go for vindication or fame. Today, when you think Loch Ness Monster, the image that likely pops into your head is that of the surgeon's photo. It's a powerful reminder of the interplay between reality and fiction, and how sometimes the line between the two can blur so seamlessly. Numerous other sightings have stoked the fires of this enduring myth. Here's a dive into some of the most notable encounters with the elusive creature of the Scottish Highlands. One of the most popular theories about Nessie is the plesiosaur theory. This suggests that she might be a remnant of the age of dinosaurs, specifically a plesiosaur, that survived mass extinction events and took refuge in the deep waters of Loch Ness. This long-necked marine reptile, which thrived during the Jurassic period, closely matches many eyewitness descriptions of Nessie. However, skeptics argue against the theory, citing the loch's relatively young age, its cold temperatures, and the lack of evidence supporting the presence of such a large creature over a millennia. But what about the evidence and sightings? A year before the surgeon's photograph was released, George Spicer and his wife reported one of the earliest modern sightings of Nessie. While driving along the loch, they claimed to have seen an extraordinary creature crossing the road in front of the car, making its way to the water. They described it as having a long neck, which was undulating in a very peculiar manner. The Spicers' account caught the media's attention, with newspapers quickly picking up on the story. Their testimony was detailed and seemed sincere, adding an air of credibility. National newspapers ran the story, and suddenly, the Loch Ness Monster wasn't just a local legend anymore. It had captured national and even international curiosity. Aeronautical engineer Tim Dinsdale captured one of the most famous pieces of film footage that purportedly shows the monster. His film, a few minutes long, shows a hump-like object moving steadily across the water, leaving a wake behind it. The film was rigorously analyzed, and while some experts believe it depicted a boat or floating debris, others were convinced it was the elusive Nessie. During the 1970s, American lawyer Robert Rhine sponsored several expeditions to Loch Ness. Using underwater cameras, his team captured intriguing images. One of the most notable pictures from the 1972 expedition seemed to show a large flipper, further fueling the plesiosaur theory. Another expedition in 1975 yielded an image that some believe resembled the head and neck of a plesiosaur. But in the years that followed, people started to think that it might be a hoax. Some experts took a closer look and thought those body parts might just be tree trunks or other underwater debris. Over time, with better tech and more analysis, the pictures lost a lot of their credibility. So while it was a huge deal back in the day, nowadays many folks just figure it was another case of mistaken identity, or maybe even a little bit of wishful thinking. In 2007, Gordon Holmes, a lab technician, recorded a video at Loch Ness. This footage caught significant attention and was highlighted by a marine biologist at the Loch Ness Center as being among the best footage he'd ever seen in relation to the Loch Ness Monster legend. However, not everyone was convinced. Some skeptics believed that the object in the video could be a more common, explainable creature, such as a large fish or seal, rather than the fabled monster. George Edwards, a boat skipper who frequently navigated Loch Ness, reportedly took a photograph of a mysterious dark hump moving through the water. Edwards, having spent considerable time on the loch, around 60 hours weekly, firmly believed he had captured an image of the elusive monster. He described observing the entity for a duration of approximately 5 to 10 minutes before it vanished from sight. Despite Edwards' claims, the photograph became a topic of debate and contention. While some considered it potential evidence of the creature's existence, others dismissed it, alleging that the image might have been fabricated or manipulated, thus terming it as a possible hoax. So in a modern twist, people were checking out Apple Maps one day and spotted this super weird shape in Loch Ness. The thing was huge, like 30 meters long, and it looked like it was under the water. Of course, everyone's thinking, is this modern day proof of Nessie? But some tech-savvy experts stepped in and were like, hold up, that might just be a boat's wake mixed up with how the satellites stitch images together. Techies. Always a buzzkill, right? But hey, it added another fun chapter to the whole Loch Ness saga. While the surgeon's photograph remains the most iconic evidence of the Loch Ness Monster's existence, there have been tons of other sightings keeping the buzz alive. Some folks whip out blurry videos while others just swear by what they saw. And sure, there's always a debate with Team Believe versus Team Skeptic going head to head, but honestly, it's the whole is it real mystery that really keeps the Loch Ness Monster such a global sensation. Everyone loves a good unsolved mystery, right? Steve Feltham's commitment to the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster is unparalleled. Originally from England, his interest in the potential creature dwelling in the Loch Ness depths led him to make a dramatic life change in the 1990s. Leaving behind his conventional life, he relocated to Loch Ness's shores, a testament to his unwavering dedication. His enduring vigil did not go unnoticed. In 2011, the Guinness World Records acknowledged Steve for having the longest continuous monster hunting vigil at Loch Ness. This accolade wasn't just about time spent, it was a recognition of his intense focus on understanding the phenomenon of the Loch Ness Monster. Feltham's approach to his vigil is methodical. Throughout his time at Loch Ness, he made several observations and documented unusual activities on the lake. One of his most significant reports came in 2011 when he described witnessing an anomalous event on the lake that lasted about 5 minutes. While Feltham was cautious not to make conclusive claims, the incident he reported didn't align with the common misidentifications like boats or floating debris. Over the decades, Feltham has become an intrinsic part of the Loch Ness narrative. His mobile home on the loch's shores serves as both his observation point and a hub for fellow enthusiasts and curious visitors. Through his interactions, he's fostered discussions, shared findings, and contributed significantly to the ongoing discourse surrounding the Loch Ness Enigma. Despite his dedication, Feltham maintains an open-minded stance. He believes in thorough investigation, valuing evidence and data. But what's so cool about Feltham is he's not just blindly believing. He's all about facts and real evidence. And while we still don't know if Nessie's really out there, one thing's for sure. Feltham's made a big splash in keeping the legend alive with his passion and smarts. In 2016, the Loch Ness Monster legend saw another spike in interest due to a photograph taken by a tourist named Richard White. Visiting the Scottish Highlands and the iconic Loch Ness, Richard was around Urquhart Bay, an area known for numerous reported sightings of the elusive creature, when he captured something unusual. The photograph displayed a distinct dark crescent-shaped form in the water. The image quickly gained traction in media. Discussions were reignited about Nessie's existence with experts and amateurs alike, analyzing the photograph for its authenticity and potential explanations. The location of the sighting, Urquhart Bay, further added to the photograph's credibility in the eyes of some Nessie believers. This area of Loch Ness has historically been a hotspot for reported sightings and unexplained phenomena. The bay's deep waters combined with its geographical features have led many to speculate that if Nessie does exist, this bay might be a preferred dwelling or passage area for the creature. In the aftermath of Richard White's 2016 photograph, while many believed it added a valuable piece to the Loch Ness puzzle, skeptics maintained their reservations. Like many previous sightings and evidence, the photograph was subjected to various interpretations, from suggesting it showed a large fish or an underwater rock formation, to others believing it was a more definitive glimpse of the legendary creature. In the Chronicles of Loch Ness Sightings, the summer of 2018 added a fresh chapter with the testimony of a young girl, Charlotte Robinson. Only 12 years old at the time, Charlotte hailed from Leeds and was vacationing in the Scottish Highlands, a region world-renowned for its breathtaking landscapes and the enigmatic Loch Ness. The specific location of Charlotte's story was the Loch Ness Highland Lodges. This area provides a panoramic view of the loch, placing visitors in an ideal position to scan the waters for any unusual activity. According to Charlotte's account, while enjoying the view from the lodges, she witnessed an unusual spectacle. A large creature, distinctly different from the usual sightings of fish or birds, emerged from the water. This was not a fleeting glimpse. The creature remained surfaced for about a full minute, giving Charlotte ample time to observe its features. Such prolonged sightings are relatively rare in the annals of Loch Ness encounters. But the sighting didn't end there. After disappearing beneath the water's surface, the creature emerged again. Approximately 7 minutes had lapsed since the initial sighting when Charlotte reported that the creature resurfaced, this time roughly 7 meters away from its original position. This behavior of diving and resurfacing at a different location added a layer of intrigue to Charlotte's account. This 2018 sighting captured media attention and reignited discussions among both skeptics and believers. While some argued that children with their active imaginations might misinterpret ordinary sights, others countered by emphasizing the clarity and detail of Charlotte's account. The specificity of her observations, the duration of the sighting, the creature's subsequent resurfacing, and its changed location lent a level of credibility to her testimony. In the modern age, the quest to unveil the mysteries of Loch Ness has expanded to digital surveillance, courtesy of technology. One of the notable instances that highlights this shift came in 2019 from an unlikely observer, Owen O'Fagan, who was not even Scottish at the time of his sighting. Owen, an Irish hospital clerk, was over 400 miles from Loch Ness in his homeland of Ireland. Despite the distance, his keen interest in the Loch Ness legend led him to frequently watch a publicly available webcam that streamed live footage from the lake. This digital window into Loch Ness allowed enthusiasts like O'Fagan to virtually monitor the waters in real time. During one of these sessions, Owen noticed an anomaly on the screen. He quickly began to record the webcam's footage, capturing a 20-second video. What the video depicted was intriguing. A dot, or small shape, moved smoothly and purposefully across the loch's surface. The motion was not erratic or short-lived. It persisted for those 20 seconds, leaving a discernible ripple in its wake, indicating that it was not a mere fleeting shadow or a light play. Once O'Fagan shared his video with the public, reactions poured in. The ripple the shape created, its clear movement across the water, and the duration of its visibility made it a topic of significant interest among Loch Ness researchers and enthusiasts. Many viewed it as a notable sighting, lauding the clarity and the length of the footage. However, the nature of the sighting, the fact that it was a digital capture instead of an in-person observation, added layers to the ensuing debates. Skeptics weighed in, with some suggesting that the object could have been a bird skimming the water's surface, a swimming animal, or even floating debris, given the small size of the shape in relation to the vastness of the loch. The digital nature of the sighting also led to discussions about the validity and reliability of webcam-based evidence. Unlike personal testimonies where individual perception can be a factor, webcam footage offers a consistent view available to multiple observers. Yet, the challenges of depth perception, resolution, and environmental factors like the lighting still play a role in interpreting such evidence. While these modern accounts share the same spirit of mystery as their predecessors, they also benefit from technology, with smartphones and webcams playing a crucial role. But here's the catch. With all this tech, it's easier to doctor photos and videos, right? So figuring out what's legit and what's just some fancy Photoshop can be a real brain teaser. But hey, real or not, all these stories just kept adding more layers to the whole Loch Ness saga. Nessie's definitely secured her spot in the digital age. While a lot of these eyewitness accounts, photographs, and even grainy film footage have kept the mystery alive for nearly a century, the question remains, is it even biologically feasible for a creature like this to exist in Loch Ness? The most popular depiction of Nessie is that of a plesiosaur-like creature, a prehistoric marine reptile with a long neck, stout body, and flippers. Plesiosaurs lived during the age of dinosaurs and went extinct approximately 66 million years ago. But could a population of these creatures survive all this time undetected in Loch Ness? Loch Ness, located in the Scottish Highlands, is the second largest Scottish loch by surface area, but the largest by volume. Its waters are murky due to a high peat content, providing an environment where such creatures could theoretically evade detection. However, several factors challenge the notion of a large creature like that living in the loch. Loch Ness is cold, with average temperatures around 5.5 Celsius, 42 degrees Fahrenheit. While some marine reptiles are cold-blooded, living in such cold waters for an extended period of time would be challenging. A creature of Nessie's reported size would require a substantial amount of food. The loch does have fish, including salmon, trout, and eels, but sustaining a breeding population of large predators would likely deplete these fish stocks noticeably. While Loch Ness is deep, with an average depth of 132 meters or 433 feet and a maximum depth of 226 meters or 741 feet, it freezes during winter. A large air-breathing creature would easily be noticed breaking the ice regularly. The plesiosaur theory, while exciting, raises questions. For Nessie to be a plesiosaur, a breeding population would have to have survived in Loch Ness since the age of the dinosaurs, isolated from the rest of the world. It would involve the evolution of this marine reptile to freshwater conditions while leaving behind no fossil evidence of the significant transition. The long-necked sightings don't really align well with our understanding of plesiosaurs. Fossil evidence suggests they held their necks out straight and did not have swan-like flexibility, as often depicted in the Nessie illustrations. Many sightings describe a creature with humps or a long shape just below the water's surface. Some biologists have posited that these sightings could be misinterpretations of other animals' behavior. Large birds or fish might be mistaken for a monster when seen from a distance or low light. In 2019, researchers found a significant amount of eel DNA in the waters of Loch Ness. Large eels could potentially be mistaken for a larger creature, especially if several eels were swimming in a line. The loch's conditions with waves and boat wakes can create optical illusions. Floating peat or debris might also appear as an unexplained shadow or shape. If we assume the existence of a singular Nessie, it brings up issues of longevity. No known aquatic creature has a lifespan that covers the duration of Nessie sightings. If we consider a breeding population, it amplifies the problem of scarcity of sightings. A sustainable population would require several individuals, leading to more frequent encounters with humans. Multiple scientific expeditions have been conducted on Loch Ness, employing underwater cameras, sonar equipment, and more. None have found concrete, definitive evidence of a large unknown creature. In a recent extensive study, water samples were collected throughout Loch Ness, and environmental DNA was extracted. The results provided a comprehensive catalog of creatures living in the loch. While the study didn't exactly rule out the possibility of a large creature entirely, it found no evidence supporting the existence of it either. While the legend of the Loch Ness Monster is a culturally significant and fascinating tale of mystery, the biological feasibility of such a creature's existence is slim when examined critically. Challenges in habitat sustainability, evolutionary history, food sources, and reproduction can cast doubt on the plesiosaur-like Nessie of popular lore. Following the hoopla created by the surgeon's photograph, wealthy British businessman and motorbike manufacturer Edward Mountain funded the first large-scale expedition. He employed a team of 20 men who, for over a 5-week period, observed the loch using binoculars and cameras. While they reported several sightings, none were conclusively documented. The BBC, intrigued by the growing interest, conducted their radio broadcast directly from Loch Ness. While this wasn't a scientific expedition in the strict sense, it did further ignite public interest. This was one of the largest and most comprehensive sonar explorations of Loch Ness. A fleet of 24 boats equipped with echo sonar equipment scanned the depths. The operation did detect 3 unidentified objects of interest moving in the loch, but these findings were inconclusive. Led by Adrian Shrine, this ongoing initiative has been studying Loch Ness for decades. While its primary aim is to understand the loch's natural history and ecology, they've also explored the Nessie legend. Using underwater cameras and sonar, they've collected vast amounts of data, most of which is available for public perusal at the Loch Ness Center. In a groundbreaking approach, a professor from the University of Otago, New Zealand, undertook a study to catalog all living species in the Loch Ness by extracting and studying environmental DNA, eDNA, from water samples. The results were revealing. While no dinosaur DNA was found, there was an overwhelming amount of eel DNA, suggesting that some of these sightings might be attributed to large eels. A Norwegian company, Kongsberg Maritime, sent an autonomous underwater vehicle into the depths of Loch Ness. While its primary mission was to survey the loch's depths, the robot discovered a 30-foot film prop resembling Nessie, which was used in the 1970 film The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. This finding highlights how objects in the loch can contribute to the myths. Modern technology has democratized the hunt for Nessie. Webcams like the Loch Ness webcam allow anyone with an internet connection to become a virtual monster hunter, while platforms like social media amplify personal accounts and findings, encouraging public participation. There are personal accounts and sightings reported every year. Some of these are accompanied by photos or videos, often of ambiguous shapes or unexplained ripples in the water. However, many of these can be attributed to boat wakes, floating debris, or other common phenomena. It's also worth noting that while technology has advanced considerably and more people than ever have access to high-quality cameras, clear and indisputable evidence of Nessie remains absent. From early visual surveys to advanced DNA analysis, we've tried everything to figure out the whole Nessie deal at Loch Ness. And sure, we haven't exactly snapped a selfie with the monster yet, but it's taught us a ton about the loch itself and the cool stuff living in it, so win-win, I guess. With countless claimed sightings, photographs, and even sonar readings, the legend continues to fascinate. However, in the face of this enduring mystery, several scientific and natural explanations have been proposed. Waves and wakes. Loch Ness is a long, narrow body of water surrounded by hills. Winds can blow down the loch, creating waves. When these waves rebound off the steep banks, they can form standing waves or skelches, which can be mistaken for large humps moving through the water. Boat waves can also persist for a surprisingly long time after the boat has passed, giving an impression of a large creature moving just below the surface. The loch's waters are murky with peat and visibility is poor. Floating logs, masses of algae, and tree branches can sometimes be misinterpreted as something more mysterious, especially when viewed from a distance or in challenging lighting conditions. Many avian species inhabit or visit the Loch Ness area. From a distance, a bird taking off from the water or diving can create a commotion that might be misinterpreted, especially if only seen briefly. Fish like salmon, trout, and especially large eels are found in Loch Ness. Large fish moving near the surface can create disturbances that resemble those expected from a much larger creature. It is feasible that seals occasionally ventured into the loch from the sea, traveling via the River Ness. A seal's head and neck, when viewed from a distance, could resemble the classic serpent-like head and neck descriptions associated with some Nessie sightings. Loch Ness lies along the Great Glen Fault Line. Some geologists suggest that minor seismic activity at the bottom of the loch could release gas. When it reaches the surface, creates a bubbling, boiling effect. Such a phenomena could be interpreted as a creature moving just below the water's surface. On rare occasions, sturgeons have been found in Scottish fresh water. These fish, which can grow up to 12 feet long, have bony, rigid backs. If one were to swim near the surface, it might be mistaken for the humps of a much larger creature. When people visit Loch Ness, they often do so with the hope or expectation of seeing Nessie. This cognitive bias can lead individuals to misinterpret ordinary phenomena as extraordinary. A simple wave, a distant boat wake, or a piece of floating debris can be transformed into a sighting of a legendary monster. Sightings can sometimes be contagious. When one person believes they spotted Nessie, others nearby might see it too, even if the original sighting was of an ordinary object or phenomenon. While the allure of a prehistoric creature lurking in the depths of Loch Ness is undeniably captivating, Occam's razor suggests that the simplest explanation is often the correct one. When one combines the challenging visibility conditions of the loch, the various known animals that inhabit it or could visit its waters, and the psychological predispositions of many visitors, it's plausible, if not probable, that many Nessie sightings have mundane explanations. Nestled among these logical hypotheses are a collection of supernatural and paranormal theories that provide an alternative perspective on the creature's origins and existence. Ranging from the spiritual to the otherworldly, these theories paint a captivating picture of the world beyond our understanding. One paranormal theory posits that Nessie isn't a living creature at all, but rather the ghost or apparition of a prehistoric beast that once inhabited the loch. The theory suggests that what witnesses see isn't a physical being, but a spectral remnant from a bygone era, forever haunting the waters of Loch Ness. Some paranormal enthusiasts believe that Loch Ness sits on a ley line, which are hypothetical alignments across the landscape that correspond with significant historical or archaeological sites. These ley lines are thought to be channels of powerful spiritual or magnetic energy. It's suggested that the energy from these ley lines might manifest or attract supernatural entities, with Nessie being a product or a guardian of this energy vortex. One of the more outlandish theories suggests that Loch Ness might be a portal to another dimension or even another time. Proponents of this theory argue that Nessie could be a creature that occasionally slips through this portal from another world or time period. This could explain the sporadic sightings and the difficulty in finding consistent, tangible evidence of the creature's existence. The loch's depths conceal the gateway, and Nessie knowingly or unknowingly traverses it. Some believe that Nessie isn't of this world at all. UFO sightings and unexplained phenomena have occasionally been reported in the Loch Ness vicinity. Connecting the dots, a few theories suggest that Nessie could be of extraterrestrial origin or somehow linked to alien visitors. The loch in this view might serve as an earthly base or an observation point for these otherworldly visitors. Legend has it that certain locations or treasures around the world are guarded by protective spirits or creatures, often as a result of ancient curses. Some tales suggest that the waters of Loch Ness or the land surrounding it could be protected or cursed, with Nessie serving as its guardian. Those who seek to exploit the loch or its legends might find themselves facing the wrath of this protective entity. Yet another theory is that Nessie is a tupla, or a thought form, a creature manifested through collective belief and psychic energy. According to this theory, the volume of interest, belief, and emotion invested in the Loch Ness Monster has given it form and substance. It's a self-perpetuating phenomenon. The more people believe in and seek Nessie, the more real she becomes. So a lot of folks really want to think that there's some logical or scientific reason behind Nessie and Loch Ness, but you know what? The spooky supernatural vibes, that's where the real magic's at. People talk about ancient myths, ghosts, spirits, and even wild ideas like alternate dimensions. Now, whether or not you buy into the whole otherworldly angle at all, you gotta admit, it makes the whole Nessie story a lot juicier. Kind of makes you think about the wild unknown out there in the universe, doesn't it? While there have been numerous reported sightings and pieces of evidence presented, the legend has been rife with hoaxes. These deliberate attempts to deceive have played a pivotal role in the shaping of the narrative around the creature and have negative implications for genuine efforts to investigate. The two most prominent hoaxes are the surgeon's photograph, which we've already discussed, and the Loch Ness Muppet in 1972. In an expedition financed by Boston's Academy of Applied Science, a photograph was taken. This became another prominent proof of Nessie's existence. However, it was later revealed a carefully positioned, deflated toy. So what is the motivation of these hoaxers? Well, it could be fame and recognition. The allure of being the one to provide concrete evidence of one of the world's greatest mysteries is compelling. Those who perpetuate hoaxes often seek the recognition and fame that would accompany such a genuine discovery. The legend of Nessie is not only a cultural phenomenon, but also a lucrative one. From tourism to media rights, a credible piece of evidence can be a ticket to a substantial financial gain. Some hoaxes have been driven by the potential for monetary reward. Some hoaxes are orchestrated not for personal gain, but to further a particular agenda or to discredit opponents. In the case of Nessie, this could range from undermining genuine scientific investigations to diverting attention from other matters. Not all hoaxes have profound motivations. Some are done purely for the thrill of deception or to gauge public gullibility. Every hoax that's uncovered damages the overall credibility of genuine sightings and investigations. Over time, the public and scientific community can become more skeptical, making it harder for real evidence to be taken seriously. Investigating claims requires resources, from time and effort to financial investments. When experts and investigators spend time debunking hoaxes, it diverts valuable resources away from genuine research. On the societal level, repeated hoaxes can instill a sense of cynicism and doubt. This can extend beyond just the realm of Nessie to a broader mistrust of mysteries and unexplained phenomena, or even scientific investigations in general. The Loch Ness area heavily relies on tourism, much of which is driven by the legend of Nessie. While some hoaxes might initially boost interest in tourism, repeated deceptions can harm the reputation of the area. making it seem more like a gimmicky tourist trap than a site of genuine interest. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster is a complex tapestry of genuine sightings, scientific investigation, personal beliefs, and unfortunately deliberate hoaxes. While the motivations behind these deceptions vary, their impacts on genuine efforts to understand the phenomena is profound. Each hoax adds a layer of doubt, making the waters of Loch Ness murkier in more ways than one. For those genuinely interested in unraveling the mystery, the challenge becomes not just finding Nessie, but also navigating the intricate web of truth and deception that has been woven over the years. Nessie has permeated the realm of pop culture, becoming an emblem of the unknown, of mysteries that lurk just beyond our grasp. The tales of Loch Ness have inspired songs, films, literature, and art. They fueled tourism, bringing together hopeful believers with binoculars, scientists with their sonar, and skeptics with their doubts. For many, believing in Nessie is more than just accepting the existence of a creature in the loch. It's a testament to the human spirit's undying optimism, our collective hope that there's still magic left in the world. It speaks to our innate desire to explore the unexplained, to hold on to a sense of wonder in an increasingly pragmatic world. Yet, skepticism has its place. In an age of science and reason, many have demanded empirical evidence, tangible proof. For skeptics, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster serves as a cautionary tale against the perils of misinformation or the seductive allure of a good story. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or somewhere in between, the essence of the Nessie legend lies not in its conclusion, but in the journey of discovery. It's a reminder that the world is vast, filled with mysteries waiting to be unraveled. At the heart of the legend is humanity's shared desire to connect, to share these stories, to dream, and to wonder. The Loch Ness Monster, real or imagined, serves as a mirror, reflecting our fears, hopes, and the endless capacity of the human heart to believe. As we part with the enigmatic waters of Loch Ness, we leave with more questions than answers, but perhaps this is the true magic of Nessie, a legend that lives on, reminding us of the beautiful mysteries that life holds, waiting to be discovered.